Okay, welcome back. Today we have something a little bit special for you. You're going to get some insight into our laser coaching sessions where Kate and I coach students personally. Now, of course, our CCA students always have access to our coaching calls twice a month, and then, of course, our fabulous Facebook group as well. But these are special calls where we really get to dig into their specific questions in that moment. They're only 10 minutes, but boy, do we pack a lot of coaching and information in there. The topics are going to run the gamut. So, no matter what you are interested in as a copywriter, even though you're not in the hot seat, I guarantee that you're going to hear something useful and interesting. Also, just a heads up that in a couple of the recordings, students mention Pitchapalooza and Right Starts, which are a couple of our student only events. They're free for our students. And as with everything we do, they're designed to get people taking action and seeing success. So when you hear that reference, just know that that's what they are. So without further ado, let's dig into our laser coaching sessions. Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
How are
Dee.
you?
How are
How are
you?
you?
I'm well, thank you.
That's great. That's great. Let me
I'm
start our timer before I forget. We have to.
Officially
okay.
official.
What can
um,
we help you with?
so
Yeah.
thank you so much for actually giving me the opportunity
Oh, my
to speak
pleasure.
with you too. I have a question on everybody's favorite topic, pitching. And it's, I guess the lean is around ad agencies and web developers, for instance. And in the CCA, I've done Pitchapalooza. I've done a couple pitches already. So,
Yay.
which is small start, but in the right direction. But what I wanted to know was if there are things particularly for ad agencies that you would suggest, we incorporate into our pitches. And I guess the part two is with follow-ups, because with follow-ups, we normally do a resource and things like that. But if it's an ad agency, is that something you would still suggest? Would you suggest a different tack? Yeah.
Kate, do you want to start with the pitching and I'll do the follow-ups?
Sure. So pitching for an ad agency, it's not going to be, I shouldn't say that. It's going to be slightly different. And then you're going to want to look at the ad agency's website and see who some of their clients are that they're already working with. Do they have case studies of clients they've worked with? Do they have current client roster? Typically ad agencies will have something on there to show the types of clients that they work with. And so looking at one of those clients and saying, okay, I'm going to look at what they're doing on their website and their email, sign up for their emails, the clients that is, of the ad agency, look at their social media, get a landscape of what those clients are doing, and then come up with an idea to pitch to the ad agency about one of their clients to say, hey, maybe your enthusiastic opening is something about, I love that you work with, I'm just gonna use ad agencies I work with. I love that you work with higher education institutions, I saw that you work with X institution, and I noticed on their email series, if I sent an inquiry and I got this back, and what if have you thought about doing this? That's obviously off the top of my head. But that rough idea of saying, okay, they work with these clients, and here's an idea I'm already bringing to the table for one of those clients. So a very, very similar process, just going, I guess, one layer deeper. Could you pitch something to the agency about the agencies, what they're doing? You could, if the agency has an opt-in list, email opt-in list, and you have an idea for how the agency could get more clients, certainly.
Okay.
But I think typically if you want to work with the agency's clients, then I would go in with the idea of pitching an idea about one of those clients.
Yeah. I think sometimes people, when they're thinking about pitching agencies, they go, well, I know these are clients they worked with in the past. I don't know if this is still their current clients or not.
Yeah.
But the good news is you don't actually have to know, because remember that your pitch and your idea is just about getting your foot in the door. So even let's say worst case scenario, and it's not even that bad of a case, but let's say worst case scenario, you put together a pitch and you put in an idea for a client and it's not a client that they work with anymore. all that means is that yes, it might not be something they're going to hire you for on that client because they're not working with that client anymore. But what you've done is that you've demonstrated, first of all, that you do research because you saw that they did work with that client. And second of all, that you're thinking strategically. And that is going to be enough to get them to go, oh, okay, let's talk with her. This could be, we do have that project coming up. Let's bring her in and let's have a conversation with her. So it does.
Yeah, it's all about how you're thinking and demonstrating that you're already thinking of adding value and you're looking at what you can do to support the business versus, the alternative, like, hire me. I want to work with you. So it really is just showing like, here's what I can already bring to the table and I'm ready to hit the ground running.
And then the good news is with follow-ups that it really is, there's no difference between how you follow with an agency or how you would follow up with directly with maybe an in-house company, something like that. Because remember that you're sending through resources. So maybe you're sending through a podcast episode, maybe you're sending through an article, something like that. But if someone, just off the top of my head, something like marketing predictions for the second half of 2023, if somebody at a company could use that, somebody in an agency could use that just as well. Trends we're seeing, how AI can be used in XYZ or any kinds of things. But there's going to be really no difference between the kinds of resources you would send to an agency and to anybody else. And don't forget too, that you can reuse those resources. I mean, not to the same person. You want to send the same one to your first call to your second, of course. But, you might send resources to one company and then be like, oh, actually, I'm going to send those same ones. And you might almost always send the same ones until they become stale.
Outdated.
Like that. Exactly. That's what word I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is helpful because I feel like at least this happened. I feel like for me, when I was first starting out, was that I put ad agencies on like a pedestal, and maybe it's because of Mad Men, maybe it's because of, I don't know, but it was like, oh my gosh, ad agencies, like these people know so much more than anyone else.
Slightly intimidating. Yeah.
Yes. Right. So, okay. So if that's where, and I totally get it, but know that these people are just as they're just humans as well. They're not, smart humans, surely, but just as capable and not necessarily, I wouldn't say there's a hierarchy of like ad agency, in-house agency, small business. You can find same levels of savviness at all those levels, or frankly, the same levels of unsavviness. That's not a word. Chaos. Yes. Good word. Same levels of chaos at all those levels as well. And they're so small agencies, they're big agencies, they're agencies that, maybe don't have an on-house or an on-staff copywriter and need lots of freelance help, or they're, agencies I know that I've worked with that just started expanding to offer copywriting services, and we're focused on, more, you mentioned web development. That's a perfect example of like, we're focused on just building the site, and then they start to expand their offerings out. And so the people that are at the agency don't have necessarily any copywriting or even marketing savvy. They're very like web development. We know how to build websites.
Sure.
So knowing that, not knock them off the pedestal is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Take the intimidation down. You've got a lot to offer, and they would be lucky to work with you. So,
thank you. Awesome. Do you have any other non-ad agency related tips, tricks, wisdom, or anything that you'd like to share with me?
Related to pitching, or?
Yeah, pitching seems to be my weak point at the moment. So, but just pitching related.
I would say it's probably a weak point. I just want to.
Go ahead.
It's probably not a weak point. It's probably just you haven't done, because you said you sent out a few. So know that it'll get stronger as you send more and more and more. So not a weak point. You just haven't done it a lot yet.
I agree. I will second that. And also the secret to pitching is to do it. And you kind of knew that's where it was going to go, right? Yes, exactly.
Just an email.
It's just an email.
Yeah.
But it really is a matter of just, it's not going to get done unless you make it a priority, right? It's not something that, because let's face it, as your day goes by, there's certain things that you're like, yeah, I'll definitely do that. And then even just like in the household, right? Like, oh yeah, I laundry, absolutely. But I hate grocery shopping. So if I don't make that a priority, I'm never going to go grocery shopping, but I have to go grocery shopping if I want to eat. And it's frankly, it's the same thing for pitching. If you want to eat, you have to pitch, but it's you have to, it's those things that like, all right, Am I looking forward to doing this? No. Will it actually probably be easier than I think it is leading up to it? Yeah, probably. But do I have to do it anyway? Yeah. Yeah, I have to do it anyway. So maybe it's scheduling it in the time of the day, or figuring out exactly when you're going to be freshest and when you're going to be most likely to be willing to do it. Like, for example, if I save pitching till the middle of the afternoon, it's not going to happen. I can't be creative to save my life in the middle of the afternoon. But you have to make the decision and the commitment for it to be a priority. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. The only secret is you have to make the commitment to do it.
Okay. Sometimes what I do, in case this is helpful, is whether it's pitching, whether it's anything that I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do it. Thinking about how I'm going to feel after I do it, and keeping that feeling in mind to say, okay, I'm going to feel relief. I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to feel like, yes, I did it. And being like, okay, I want to feel that feeling. So that's the feeling I want to feel. That's the feeling I want to feel. Let me do the thing so then I can get to that good feeling. And so reminding myself of that, you just feel so much relief and just like, yes, I did it. Like,
I got through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And on top of
do
that,
this,
that the more you do it, the easier it gets. Stop. The more you do it, the easier it gets. So the more you push it off, then the harder it gets.
Yeah.
Whereas instead, if you do it consistently, you will get to the point where you can be like, oh, I want to pitch that company. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And you can send it off in minutes. But you can't get to that point if you haven't had that practice leading up to it. It's not going to get easier waiting for it to get easier. It will only get easier by you doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a quote from, I just read it the other day. It's from the guy who founded IBM. But something about, like, to double your success rate, double your failure rate, or something like that. I'm butchering it. But the idea that, like, people think there's a secret to success, and it really is just, and I take issue obviously with failure, because we're obviously learning from a no, and we know that no is not forever, especially with pitching. I don't know if you saw, someone else the other day in the group posted, like, sent a pitch last August and they just got back to me and doing the job. Like, that happens a lot. It's not uncommon. And so I think it's just remembering that the more that's out there, the more opportunities there are then to have those pitches come back with yeses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Did it help? Do you feel like you have a path forward?
I do. Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for your insight on, like, the ad agency thing as well. It's definitely something that is like, you look at their websites and it's super polished. So a little bit intimidating, but I think I have like a strategy for those. So thank you both so much.
You are
Keep us posted on how it goes.
Yes, please do.
Will do. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Have a great rest of your day. Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.